And I want to thank you all for joining us on this very exciting day for this announcement. Also joining us today are IDA Chairman and owner of Standing Stone Vineyards, Tom Masinski, Chairman of the Board of Supervisors, Gary Westfall, and the man of the hour, Earl Martin. So thank you all for coming. Also, I know that I see John Shepard for the county. Thank you for coming, John. And next to John is one of our candidates for the state senate, Brian Mantelo. So thanks for coming, Brian. We appreciate your support today, and I don't have much to say other than to introduce Tom next. And so let's go, Tom Masinski.
This is a very full podium. Anyway, thank you, Bob. And I'd also like to thank my fellow IDA board members. I'd like to thank the members of the work group and the IDA staff for all the work that they put into this program over the last year of trying to come to a successful conclusion on the Seneca, the old Army Depot. And as some of you may recall, we started this process about a year ago. In fact, it was last summer. And it was about that time that we were formally notified by the Army that they were going to be finishing their cleanup and would be handing over the responsibility of the depot to the IDA, which means we would have caretaker responsibilities, including property management, fence repair and maintenance, wildlife management, and mowing. The concern that we obviously had with picking up all those responsibilities is the expense was estimated at approximately $500,000 a year to do all of those activities, and that was something that the Seneca IDA could not contain within its own budget. And we also at the same time, or about the same time, received 2 unsolicited bids for the depot from a couple of groups, and which demonstrated to us that there was private sector interest in the depot and that there was a demand for the property. We found the private sector interest compelling. It would give us an opportunity to put the Army Depot back on the tax rolls, which has been a long time since that's been the case, and it would be contributing to the county's tax base. It would also serve as an economic asset to the region, and it would also help the IDA to ensure that we are fulfilling our mission for economic development within Seneca County. So last fall, the IDA began the bid process. We worked on trying to develop a bid. We had a public information meeting in November, and we released a formal invitation for the bids on December 15th of last year. The potential buyers were given an opportunity to tour the depot so that they could see the various areas of it, and the deadline for submission of the bids was February 29th. The IDA received a total of 16 bids for the property, including Earl's. And on March 7th, a work group comprising members of the Seneca County IDA and the Board of Supervisors met together as a work group to begin evaluation of the bids to make a determination of which bid was in the best interest of the county. At the time frame this was being put together, we had stated publicly that although we obviously are looking to sell the property, the highest bid would not necessarily win. We were looking for a bid that was going to make the most contribution to the county, and I think that we've actually ended up with that. But over the next several weeks, the work group narrowed the list of bids down to a couple of primary contenders. We also conducted in-person interviews with the 2 most promising bidders. We engaged in an extensive financial review of the bidders and their capabilities to do what their plans were. And at that point, we engaged the Center for Governmental Research to work with us and analyze the bidders' proposals and conduct an economic impact survey of the bidders and study what they would bring to the county in each of their proposals. The Center for Governmental Research study confirmed the financial strength of Earl Martin's proposal. As a result, the IDA is confident that Earl Martin's business plan will provide the greatest benefit to the local and regional economy. As a successful owner of Seneca Iron Works, Earl Martin has proved himself a very successful businessman. His purchase of the Seneca Army Depot will have long-term benefits to the county, ranging from industrial and agricultural development to job creation, tourism, and ecotourism. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Earl Martin. And as you may or may not know, Earl is a native of Seneca County. He was raised in the Mennonite community. He's worked with the dairy system and supply industry since he was a teen. He founded Seneca Iron Works, a wholesale dairy equipment and supply company, as an outgrowth of his father's company in 2004. Seneca Iron Works has experienced double-digit growth over a number of years, and we expect that to continue to expand his operations at the depot. Please join me in welcoming Earl Martin to share additional details about his plan. Congratulations.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'd like to begin by thanking the IDA board, the Seneca County Board of Directors, supervisors rather, as well as their staff and their team. And they have done an incredible amount of work. It's been a tough journey, a lot of hard decisions. The thought process that they've been dealing with is I'm sure been quite extensive. There's a lot of considerations to take into their thoughts in coming up with their final decision. We're honored to be the ones that they've chosen to move forward and continuing to develop the Seneca Depot to the benefit of both our company and the community. And we're glad to be in a position to be the ones that can continue this work. I want to also acknowledge the remaining bidders that weren't successful in this venture. They were, I'm sure they had very compelling bids, and I don't think it was an easy decision. And our top priority going forward is actually industrial development. We are looking to expand operations, and the depot gives us a platform that is very suitable for that. There's some infrastructural needs that need to be dealt with, and we're looking forward to working with the municipalities and the utilities to accomplish that. And that being our primary focus is where we're going to be, doing most of the investments going forward. We currently have an operation in Seneca Falls in the town of Fayette, and we have reached close to maximum production there. There's very little room for expansion. There's some infrastructural hurdles that are almost not attainable to get past, so we're very excited to have this opportunity to do further expansion in the depot region. We will not be shuttering our operations at home entirely. We will just be downscaling them somewhat, moving some production, and most, if not all, of future expansions will occur on the depot. As far as manufacturing, we will continue to do some at our existing facility. The growth was mentioned. We have had great growth. What we find is that often there's more demand than we're able to produce, often due to inability to expand production capability where we're currently located, and we're hoping to deal with that in the future. This in turn, we feel, will pave the way for additional industrial development, as well as I'll talk a little later on small parts of our plans for wildlife and ecotourism. While I'm not an expert in some of those areas, I've been very fortunate in surrounding ourselves with people who we feel are. It's also our belief that this venture, with support from the community, will have far-reaching benefits for the people in the county, and actually people outside the county. There's going to be involvement from many people in many different areas. We're anticipating investing excess of $13 million in the relatively near future, which is not to say within the next year, but some of the processes do take time, but there's going to be substantial investments, and that is really just in the industrial component of what we're doing. There will be additional investments in the agricultural sectors, as well as the wildlife and the tourism components as well. We have plans to employ right around 200 people in the next 10 years or so. There's times where supply and demand dictates the rate and how many, how often, but over the course of the next 10 years, you have your highs and lows, but we're anticipating hiring a good many employees in various areas of what we do, which includes many different skill sets. In the last half a dozen years, we found it necessary to rely on Chinese and foreign manufacturing and resources. And our goal and our belief is that by focusing and investing in the local facility, we believe that while it's very difficult to compete on a strict dollar and cents with the Chinese, and I'm not trying to stereotype the Chinese, but we believe that we can be very competitive and offer a better service and better quality of product by manufacturing that here at home. The land base, most of the land base, our plan is to return that to the tax rolls. There are probably going to be certain areas that will not be completely taxed due to we have some agreements with some people that I'll speak about a little further on, but there's such a chance that a very minimal amount won't be, but the plan is the bulk of this property will be returned to the tax rolls. We feel that will be quite a benefit to Varick, Romulus, the county, as well as fire departments, etc. A portion of the depot, we're going to be working with a number of family-oriented agribusinesses, and over time, these agribusinesses will branch off and become their own taxable entity, and there will be families, homesteads on the depot, part of it. We have a strong hope in working with the local municipalities and the county it's one of our priorities is going to be opening the east-west old County Road 135, and we will be pursuing that actively. There is that's a priority of ours. As outlined in our proposal, the wildlife preservation, the tourism component is also a priority. Our expertise in those areas are not as advanced as some others, and we're going to be including other folks as part of those ventures. There is a white deer herd in this depot, and recognizing the importance of the white deer herd, we made the decision to reach out to other people in ways to effectively do that. One group which I would like to particularly mention is the Seneca white deer in Inc. And I've had some conversations with them, and I feel we have good synergy, and they have been able to introduce some thoughts and concepts that really enhance my vision of what I originally was looking at. Our proposal also states, as I'm sure will become available over time, that there is a cultural there's a cultural component involved in this county that we feel can be a part of a tourism venture as well, and that is the Amish oriented lifestyle can be a draw to tourism, and we're going to put some focus on that as well. And finally, our plans are to retain many of the depot's current uses, including there are some previous arrangements with businesses and folks that are using the facility now, and our goal is to continue working with them as they see fit. Our team is excited to take on these challenges. These are challenges, and we pledge to be the best stewards of this vital infrastructure that we can be. And it's also true that we can't do this alone. We need the support of the community and the individuals. And there's going to be a lot of involvement that we're going to have to pay attention to. In an area like this here, is largely, it's not very heavily populated. And there are challenges with getting sometimes enough of help. Sometimes we struggle to find enough of resources for various things that we're trying to do. So we don't think those are problems that are going to go away, but with your involvement, I think we can make a difference. And that being said, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to hear what we have to say. And I would like to now turn this over to Gary.
Okay. Thank you, Earl. On behalf of the Seneca County Board of Supervisors, let me be one of the first to congratulate you and thank you for your efforts to bring back the heart of Seneca County and the depot and make it a viable, useful asset again. This is truly a historic day for Seneca County. For more than 50 years, back in the early 40s, the Seneca Army Depot was a munitions and disposal depot for, at the peak, employed over 2,500 military and civilian personnel. It was an active base until 1995 when BRAC came in and indicated that this base would be closed, and in 2000 it was officially closed by the U.S. government. At that time, the IDA took over the maintenance and basically the ownership of the depot to try to make it viable again. And for the past 20 years, the IDA and its employees did a wonderful job doing things that it could do. We finally reached to the point today where we had to put the last nail in and make this thing work. So again, Earl, we thank you. With Earl Martin's bid and his game plan and his write-up on what he wishes to do with the depot, we are confident again that the depot again will be a viable part of the Seneca County. And as Earl said, over the next 10 years, his team hopes to employ over 200 people, which is definitely a good shot in the armed force and to help us in economics. The county board was sort of a gateway for residents of the county and surrounding areas to come and speak to us on what they wish to see at the depot. So it was our charge to see that the depot was returned to the tax rolls, that there would be economic development. We were concerned about ecotourism, which included the white deer. We're also concerned about reopening of County Road 135, which again is another thing, and according to Earl's plans and his staff, all these things are going to happen. So we're very, very happy and pleased that the IDA has opted to award the bid to Earl Martin and his facilities. Also, he indicated that he did not wish to depend as much on foreign supplies. We are very hopeful that that bears fruit also, and that most of the supplies will be here in Seneca County, manufactured, made, and sold. In addition, with Earl plans, most of all the, if not all the land, will be returned to the tax rolls, which would be a benefit for Seneca County, the town of Barrett, the town of Romulus, the Romulus School District, and the South Seneca School District, which we all know we need that tax base in order to keep all our taxes down in Seneca County. I'm, for one, been very excited for Earl, and for the future of the depot. We'll always refer to it as the depot, but there may come a point in time where this will be known as Martinsville. So I'm very happy and thank you, and I'll turn this back over to Bob.
Thanks, Gary. Thank you. All right, well, again, on behalf of the IDA, we congratulate you, Earl, and your entire team. We know how hard you worked on this, and it's been a pleasure to get to know you through this whole process. Thank you all for joining us today, and we're going to now move right on to the one-on-ones, if that's okay with the press, since I know a lot of you are interested in doing that, and some of you have come a long way and need to get back. So thank you again.